This is very exciting. Just announced that you're one of the moderators for these two debates that are coming up. We knew the debates were coming up. We didn't know the moderators, but we do know that it's going to be 2 nights, 10 candidates each night.
Doubleheader.
Doubleheader.
With 10 teams playing each other on both nights.
And this must be, I would imagine, campaign moderating prep is hard to begin with, but this isn't like you have to do a book report. This is like you have to do a book report on all the books.
The funny thing is, like, we start getting in debate prep materials, and it's like, here's your booklet on Cory Booker. I'm like, oh, fascinating. I've interviewed Cory Booker before. This is going to be great. And here's your booklet on Elizabeth Warren. Okay, cool. And Steve Bullock, and Michael Bennet, and Marianne Williamson, and Andrew Yang. And there's 23 books.
Yeah.
And then, so you start to, like, think your way out of it. You're like, well, do I have to read the book on each one of the 23? Yes. Because it'll be the one that I thought I could skimp on, who'll have the breakout moment, and then I'll be like, that was amazing, Denise. She'll be like, my name isn't Denise. I mean, how do you prepare to not only understand all 20 of them, but to understand the potential interactions between them?
And I don't know, you probably know this better than me, because we don't know which 10 are going to be on which night.
Right.
When is it? Because that's like random lottery draw?
So the DNC, thank God, not us. It is the DNC who decides of the Democratic candidates, which 20 make the cut.
So 3, as of now, 3, we don't know if more people join the race, but 3 will be on the outside looking in.
Unless more candidates join the race between now and the end of the week, in which case there might even be more.
So they either want 3 to drop out or 7 to join.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do a third night. Exactly. But then once they've got the 20, then they have to decide how they get allocated between the 2 different nights. And again, thank God, not like me and the other moderators who have to decide that. The DNC will do it. And I think that'll be some sort of random draw or something. But whatever happens, all hell is going to break loose.
You mentioned breakout moments, and I want to ask about that because it strikes me based on the way you do your show, will be hopeful for organic conversation, and yet it always seems at debates that you can tell when someone has like a pre-planned, pre-packaged moment that they want to get out there as their breakout moment in the debate. Is there any way around that?
To warn them right now that they shouldn't do that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Anytime somebody has rehearsed their moment, I will look concerned, then appear surprised, then raise my index finger, then appear to be naturally and organically outraged in the moment, and then wait for my applause. Like those moments, those canned moments, never, ever, ever, ever work.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that they're not all going to plan one.
It does seem like audiences now, or I should say voters now, have a better sense for authenticity. And one thing you have to say about Donald Trump, he is authentically himself and was at every debate. Like, there was never a time where he's like, oh, I have to get to my pre-planned line. They were just like, I don't think he pre-plans anything.
Got to make sure I get the details of this policy just right.
Yeah, I think instead he's like, I think I'm going to throw up some word soup.
Yeah. See, it sticks. I told you,
it works. They love it.
No puppet, you're the puppet. I mean, the candidates right now are in the stage of the Democratic primary where they're not like being mean to each other. They're not taking each other down. And I think lots of people who want Donald Trump to lose the general election hope that the Democratic primary stays like that forever. They're all so mutually supportive. I mean, ultimately, the Democratic primary should be a hard-fought, knockdown, drag-out contest because you want whoever gets to the general to be tough and to have proven themselves against really difficult criticism, even unfair criticism, because you know what it's going to be like to run against Trump. It's like running against a blender.
Yeah, I do think that's absolutely. And that is a counter-argument to this idea that we all need to be nice to each other. It's not like Donald Trump needs another Democratic candidate to point out a flaw in somebody that he might one day run against, because he's very good at finding flaws, even things that aren't true. So he doesn't need any help from Cory Booker to tell him something he can make fun of Pete Buttigieg about.
Well, yes, and I mean honestly, if you look at history, in terms of the modern presidential contests, almost always when there's a big field that has really robust competition, not every time, but almost every time, the candidate from that party tends to win. Because primaries that are hard to win make you a better candidate.
Yeah.
And all of these candidates, I mean, all of the Democrats are interesting. I mean, I think almost all of them would make really good presidents. They've all had interesting careers. They're all, I've met almost all of them. They're all interesting people. They're all competent. But I don't know which of them would make the best president. And the best way I know to find out is to see them battle it out to within an inch of their lives with all the other people who might conceivably be president too. So, I mean, what is the lesson of Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump in terms of how to beat him in a general election? I don't think anybody has any idea. I think it's got to be something new.
The other thing that's going to be fascinating to watch is based on how voters, the feedback the first night of those 10 people debating, the feedback from that night, how it affects the way that people will debate the next night.
Right.
If everybody says, oh, it was a little boring because everybody was so friendly, you might have the knives out right away on night 2, which would be fascinating to watch and what makes this year so interesting because there's so many people.
But the other idea too is just, okay, it's 2 hours for each of those 2 nights. There's 10 candidates on the stage for those entire 2 hours. Plus there has to be some time like for the questions to be asked.
Yeah.
I mean, how many minutes are each of them going to get? And for somebody like, Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders, who's doing really well in the polls, do you essentially just want to lie low and hopefully nobody notices you and you can keep riding your name recognition?
I feel like Bernie is very bad at that. I would feel like, lying low. I'm just going to stand here and not be noticed. I want to talk real quick, before we go to commercial, I want to talk about this idea about electability. Everybody's talking about electability. Yeah. And I think when you go back to our last 2 presidents, neither of them seemed at all electable until they were president.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly...
Even in retrospect.
Yeah.
They don't
but there was, we obviously never elected a black man president until President Barack Obama, and we never elected whatever it is that Donald Trump is. He's the first of it. He's the first of his kind. So do you think people are too caught up in it, or do you think it is just this sort of core fear of the Democratic Party right now not to have the same outcome?
I think it's both totally understandable and also a fool's errand. I mean, I think that Democrats looking at their field right now probably see a lot that they like in that field. I mean, if there's something that you don't like about one of the candidates, there's 22 others to choose from. I mean, there's plenty there on offer. I think the unifying thing that does motivate all Democrats and a lot of independents right now is the desire to get Trump out of there. That's just going to be the dominating factor in a field this big. It's really therefore hard not to approach the primary process as something you ought to game out in terms of who's most electable. The problem with that is that nobody can tell. And when you try to make your voting decision based on not who you think is your favorite candidate, but who you think everybody else might think is their favorite candidate, it's just dumb game theory. Like, it just doesn't work mathematically. The best thing you can do for your country in the primary is A, pay attention, B, commit to vote, and C, vote for the person you think would make the best president. Any other way you try to outthink it, you're going to undo the point of the process.
Well, I hope we get a step closer after the debates.